Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, infinite, limitless beings. Thanks so much for dropping by this video. I'm going to get a little old school today because, you know, well, for anyone who's new to this channel or my videos, the essence of this channel is that the modern satsang movement is a mess. It's a mess. And so, I've been going to non-duality satsang for years, years and years and years. And what I'm about to tell you, I've never heard it said once. And yet it's the essence of non-duality. Or let's say the essence of practicing non-duality. So, first and foremost, every good non-dual teacher will tell you, you are already free. You're already free. That's the truth about you. Now, here is where we separate the good teachers from the bad teachers. The good teachers will then guide you in a way that you can live and experience that moment by moment. The bad teachers will give you bad advice that won't actually lead to the awareness of that being a constant experience. And here's one thing that the bad teachers, the unskillful non-dual teachers won't tell you. And that is to pursue the practice of self-inquiry. There are certain requirements. That's not to say that you can't do things that will get you ready for self-inquiry, but to do the practice of self-inquiry, there are certain absolute requirements. Don't take my word for it. Here's what Ramana Maharshi had to say about it. Before Atma-vichara, self-inquiry, is started, some antecedent experience, some achievement in the moral field is essential. People having varied experiences in the world at one stage develop a disgust or repulsion towards sense attraction, or at any rate, an indifference to such attractions, and feel forcibly the miserable transient nature of the body through which these attractions and enjoyments are had. This may be the result of practice of devotion or some other upasana, spiritual discipline in this life, or such devotion or good works performed in a previous life. People whose minds thus purified and strengthened are the adhikaris. Don't know what that word means, that Sanskrit word. The ones competent to launch on Atma-vichara, self-inquiry, or inquiry into the self. And these are the qualifications or signs by which one can determine such competency. So the thing is, and so in Hindu philosophy, they say, in Advaita Vedanta, they say there are basically two types of people. There are yogis and bhogis. A bhogi is someone seeking bhogha, which means enjoyment, pleasure, seeking happiness through enjoyment. A yogi is seeking happiness only as much as humanly possible. I don't know, to 100%, but seeking happiness through God. So if I am looking, for a partner, a job, a new house, health, if I'm looking to any of those things to bring me happiness, I'm not qualified to practice self-inquiry. Now that doesn't mean if it's righteous to seek out a new job, if it's righteous to make a move, that you don't move. The thing is a yogi doesn't do any of those things because they think they will make them happy. A yogi is doing it because would do such a thing because it's just the right thing to do. It's just a righteous, or as they say in Hinduism, it's a dharmic action. It's the right decision. So this is where the rubber meets the road, friends, is being really honest where we're at. For years, I was a total liar. Not a total liar, but I was lying in that I said, oh, yes, all I want is God, when really what I wanted was a partner, or a new partner, or a lover, or work that was satisfying, or spiritual experiences. That's a good one. I got really hung up on that one. Partner and spiritual experiences. And sex, of course. So it's okay to want those things. It's okay to pursue those things, but we need to be honest with ourselves on the Advaita Vedanta path. Where do we think happiness lies? Because as long as we're chasing those things, we're not convinced that happiness lies with God. And that's okay. I'm not shaming anyone. I'm not shaming me for having pursued those things. But we need to get rigorously honest. And part of Advaita Vedanta is inquiring into where happiness is. For anyone new to this topic, I highly recommend James Schwartz's book, The Essence of Enlightenment. He even has it printed online. The first chapter really is about this inquiry into what actually brings happiness. So if you're still chasing pleasure in the world, then self-inquiry isn't for you, and it's time to practice karma yoga or bhakti yoga. Those things will help get you ready and to meditate on where does happiness really lie. The logic of this is very simple. The teaching is that the self is the source of all happiness. So a yogi has had enough glimpses of that and enough suffering in the world that they're like, I'm not seeking happiness where it isn't. I'm not seeking happiness where misery is. I'm going to seek happiness where happiness is. And yes, desires can still arise and there can still be challenges. It's obviously a path. And then there's a fundamental distinction between whether you're seeking happiness outside of yourself or whether you're seeking happiness inside of yourself. For me, it was, what really led me to the point of getting really clear that happiness isn't found outside is twofold. Getting what I wanted and not getting what I wanted. Getting what I wanted because it always led to disappointment, and then the utter misery of not getting what I want. And the recognition, hey, this is how life works. I don't get what I want and I suffer. I get what I want and I suffer. I'm tired of the roller coaster. I'm tired of the merry-go-round. I want to be happy always. I want unconditional happiness. And at that point, then one is fit to begin self-inquiry. But it's not quite that simple because we also have to cultivate one-pointedness of mind, and there's other prerequisites as too. But this is really the first and foremost one. As long as we're seeking out here, we can't fully seek in here. So thank you so much for dropping by. And whether you're seeking happiness out there or whether you're seeking happiness, the actual source of happiness, whether you're seeking happiness out there or in here, whether you're a Bhogi or a yogi, I wish you a beautiful day. And here's a great question for both people to ask. What can I do to serve today? What can I do to give and not expecting anything back, to give for the sake of giving, to serve God, to serve life? And that's part of what karma yoga is, to dedicate all of our actions, everything we do, towards God and to not seek anything in return.